Hey everyone. Okay, so now we're going to look at the contribution margin approach. Okay, so if you remember in the last video, I actually mentioned the words contribution margin. So in the previous section that we covered, which is 6.5, the approach was called revenue and cost function approach. And now we're looking at the contribution margin approach. Okay. So another method for cost volume profit is based upon the contribution that each unit sold makes towards the firm's fixed cost. Okay, so for example, if an item sells for $5 and it costs $3 to produce, which is all of your variable costs, then the remaining amount, okay, so your S minus your VC equals your contribution margin, or the $2. And that $2 per unit, for every unit you sell, you're going to have $2 that will go towards covering all of your fixed costs. So what we need to figure out for the break even is how many of those $2 do we need in order to make sure that all of our fixed costs are covered. Right? So your contribution margin is your selling price per unit minus your variable cost per unit. So break even in sales volume is your fixed cost divided by contribution margin. And if you remember when we did the last section, it was FC divided by S minus VC, right? S minus VC. So we were looking at the same thing. It's just now we're figuring out what the actual contribution margin is and dividing that into the fixed costs. So let's look at Chuck's delivery service again. So if you remember when we figured out the denominator of the last equation, when we did the fixed cost divided by S minus VC, we figured out that 46.10 was the denominator. And that, in fact, is the contribution margin. So for every delivery we make, after covering any costs that are directly related to the delivery, the variable costs, what's left over is the contribution margin, and that contribution margin of 46.10 goes towards covering all of our fixed costs. So however many contribution margins we have, it'll go towards covering the fixed costs. So this way we can figure out how many deliveries do we need to make in order to cover the fixed costs. So we know the fixed costs are 6,640 divided by 46.10, which is our contribution margin. So again, our break-even sales volume is 144 deliveries in order to have a profit at the end of 0. Okay, and we are going to end it there.